Good afternoon. Welcome to North Country Politics. This is episode 13. I'm State Representative Mike Willett from Colebrook, and my special guest today is Gorham Selectman Bob Gargano.
Hello, everybody.
Well, Bob, our friend Arnie Davis is AWOL again. I don't know what's going on with him, but I think he better straighten up pretty soon, or we're going to have to find a permanent replacement.
Well, I think he's enjoying himself, and I'm sure it's a well-deserved vacation with all the hard work that he's put forth.
Well, just consider this as your tryout, just in
Very
case. Bob, we want to talk about some state things. We want to talk about some local things. So, first of all, the biggest thing that was coming across the North Country this week was Gorham and their ice situation and the reporting from WMUR.
Yes, that was a tad disappointing for which is an understatement. So obviously the select board, we actually had a very respectful, calm meeting. So one of our residents proposed her statement. Our police chief, Jamie Wilhoit, was there, and he had his own statement. It was standing room only in there, and it was very respectful, and it was done in a gentlemanlike fashion, no hostility, no animosity, and it was a clear conversation of transfer of communication between our residents and our local officials. So we thought that was the end of it. Well, unbeknownst to us, we saw the article that next morning, and I was driving into work at about 3:30 a.m. My phone started buzzing at 6 a.m. And it was a friend of mine from watching the MTW Portland station, and he commented on the inaccuracies of what transpired. At WMUR, stating that it was a contentious meeting, can't be farther from the truth. We did reach out. Our town official did reach out to WMUR to retract that statement and ask for clarification, which, to my understanding, did not happen. So our select board chairperson made her own statement and posted it on social media, clarifying what happened that night. And I think that was very well received, and it showed a positive leadership role in trying to head this off, just for clarity. Yeah.
I thought it was very disappointing. WMUR is the biggest TV station in the state, and we expect to get our news from them. And this was anything but news. It was a fictitious story, blown out of proportion, with very little fact, and promoted as news, which it really wasn't.
Very, very much so. And to be honest with you, this was my first time with firsthand experience dealing with that type of inaccuracy from a major news source. And I can't tell you how disappointed I was, and I can't tell you how disappointed I still am, due to the fact there was no retraction of a statement. And what does that do to our public's trust? It's right out the window. And some of the people that don't know better, well, it came from the news. It must be true. National Enquirer. I saw little green men in the park the other day. It must be true. Okay, so that's not a recipe. That's not a recipe to promote success. Not at all.
And what I find, and let me know if you agree. I know, like in Colebrook, we had the same type meeting about a month ago, where it was a public hearing to accept money from the federal government through ICE because we had picked up some illegal aliens and turned them over, and there was some money involved, so we had to have a public hearing to accept the money, and it ended up same thing, very public hearing, both sides of the aisle. I don't want to say aisle. Both sides of the situation, very respectful, said their statements, and the selectmen and the town police chief and town manager said, well, we're going to continue. And I was very happy in a sense, because they said what they're going to do with the money they received from ICE for being part of this program, and it's going to take about $150,000 out of our tax base, reduce our taxes, and by arresting criminals. So I didn't have a really problem with it.
Well, and I think that's the key word right there is criminal activity.
And I guess my point is when we're sitting in the meeting, and I know that Gorham is, again, is a very well-run town and the same. You sit down and you have a discussion about things going on in town. It's nonpartisan. It's not anything to do with parties. It's people with different ideas, different philosophies. And we sit down, we talk about it, and then make a decision. But it's not usually contentious. It's very serious and well thought out. And I think that's WMUR is kind of following the mainstream media, and their big job is not to tell the news, but to make things decisive, and that doesn't help any of us.
No, it doesn't, because that closes all communication on both sides, and you need open communication. You need to be able to have respectful decisions, and that's how problems are resolved. But again, when the news media puts out a statement that's not based on fact, that's totally fictitious, it just fans the fire, and then people get enraged, and now communication comes to a halt because they have an opinion based on inaccuracies.
And the truth isn't out there. That's the
Correct.
big thing. Now, in this year's election, there was I don't know if it was an upset, but you have a new selectman, and Mike Waddell is no longer on the select board. And Mike was been there a long time. Whether you're a fan or not, it doesn't matter, but he is a wealth of knowledge and information. So how's it going so far with your new member, and how's the board gelling together?
Well, as you stated, Mike Waddell was a selectman for many, many years, decades for that matter. And doing anything for that length of time, you acquire wisdom above and beyond knowledge. So wisdom, which you have to respect. But things evolve, things move on. So we have our new selectman. His name is Dr. Richard Cardell. Seems like a very, very nice man, obviously very, very intelligent. He works over at Androscoggin Valley Hospital. And we've had, 3 or 4 meetings so far. He's given valuable and respectful input, which is great. So we have all the components of building a new successful team. And our chairperson has been a selectman for quite a few years. Chairwoman Judy LeBlanc, again, who has quite a bit of wisdom and knowledge. So we have the components for a great team, which again will complement the town in its successes. Looking forward to being part of that team.
And that's the whole thing that most select board members, the best select boards I've seen are people of varied backgrounds, knowledges, and expertise. And when they come together to work as one, a lot of stuff gets done.
Absolutely, you need diversity in people's backgrounds. Mrs. Chairwoman LeBlanc, Mrs. LeBlanc, she has a great background. She was born and raised, in Gorham. My background is a contractor with a civil engineering background. Professional project manager, estimator. Well, I bring that component to the town. And Dr. Cardell, again, just his knowledge base and the input he gets from his patients is what led him to be interested in running for this position, which I think is very, very important. And that's the listening component to our taxpayers out there and what their concerns are.
I agree. Now, rumor is that you're going to run for state representative, replacing the Michael Murphy, the current state representative that's not running. And I guess if that's the truth.
Yes, that's accurate. So that would be District 6 for Cowas County, which covers Shelburne, Gorham, Randolph, and a few other unincorporated places. And State Representative Mike Murphy and I are also great friends. He's also a fellow veteran. And over the past few years, we've talked about what was involved, and it kind of opened the door for me. And it helped introduce yourselves, Representative Corzine, and I see the leadership involved. And I see the things that you guys have accomplished. And I've been in awe. And that is something I want to be part of. You've had a positive effect on the residents of Cowas County's quality of life. You have positive input. and you provide a leadership role for our younger generation and our older generation. And that is something that has very much inspired me, and I want to be a part of that.
I appreciate that very much. And like I said, we're going to miss Representative Murphy. He's got a bill going through the House and the Senate right now, the Gold Star Fathers Bill, which will give Gold Star Fathers, which is some of our hero veterans that didn't come back, a special license plate and their family members. And this is something that's been trying to get through the New Hampshire legislature for a number of years. I mean, a lot of years. And Representative Murphy has carried the ball across the line, and we're all very proud of the work he's done to get this through.
Absolutely, very proud of that, because the veteran status, it affects the entire family, not just the mother. You know, you have parents, siblings, and it's something to recognize the ultimate sacrifices that were made, not only with the service member, but the lifelong impact that it has for their families. And this was a great representation of how things can come together as a team.
Yeah,
Very proud of everybody to pursue that.
I agree. Now, so is it safe to say that Representative Murphy is endorsing you as his,
My
I won't say his
understanding,
replacement, but his successor?
my understanding is that he endorses me. That's what he said, and he's been coaching me along quite a bit. Again, taking that leadership role, and encouraging me and coaching me along. So I'm very, very grateful for that as well.
One thing I see in the North Country that's different from other parts of the state when it comes to the state representative elections is really it's nonpartisan, because in Gorham or in Colebrook or wherever we were elected, we know everybody's voting for us, and you know, we're there to help everyone. So the parties really don't get involved, where I think down south that's not the case.
Well, the different demographic down south, but up here you're absolutely correct. You have to put the parties on the shelf for the moment, and we all live in the same community. Things might be a little bit different up here in Coos County, in the sense that we all live in New Hampshire. We all have to work for the same goals. We have to listen to everybody's story and everybody's concerns, and again, and how it affects their quality of life, and what can we do to help improve that and keep the people staying in the community. Mm-hmm. And if you don't listen to the concerns of the people, it's going to be very difficult to be able to solve any problems. And if you have people on both sides of the aisle that you can talk to and work together as a team to solve problems, now everybody takes ownership of that, and you have a much more powerful end result.
And that's one thing I've been very proud of the Coos County delegation we've had the last few years is we work as a team. So when there's a problem in Groveton, we all work together. If there's a problem in Berlin, we all work together. It's not because I'm not the Berlin rep, doesn't mean I'm going to avoid it. We work as a team to come up with solutions and for all of our citizens. And I'm very, very proud of that. Now, one of the biggest hot buttons, of course, for the North Country is property taxes and schools. And what's your opinion on what's going on in the schools in the North Country?
Well, I'd like to answer that second part of your question about the schools. My honest opinion is, our public school system, that's the foundation, the cornerstone of our society. This is the younger generation that we have to nurture, we have to educate, we have to promote, and we have to lead them down the path of knowledge, if you will. That's who's going to be running the country, years from now. And it's very important that we do an adequate job of performing this act, and that's supporting the teachers. And it's very, very important. Funding, on the other hand, well, that's always the hot topic, okay? Because now you have the administration that comes into play. You have the funding that's getting trickled down from the state, which is always the big question mark. And unfortunately, the solution is not a light switch. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to involve a lot of mediation, a lot of thoughtful conversation, and a lot of inspirational ideas from everyone.
I couldn't agree more. And like you said, it's going to have to be everyone involved to make some hard decisions. But I will give a shout out to the town of Gorham and their schools. I coached in Colebrook for many years, My kids went to Colebrook. We played sports against Gorham. I've seen things going on. Gorham School has really changed a lot. They've done a great job. They've got a great staff. They are innovative in their thinking and their educating. And I shout out to the Gorham School. They're doing a great job there.
Thank you. I'm going to make sure I pass that along. And one of the things that I started to do was I started sitting in attendance just as a citizen, if you will, to the SAU 20 meetings for Gorham, Randolph, and Shelburne. And why is that? Well, I want to get educated. I want to get better informed to see what the needs of the school is, whether it's the administration or the classroom component, and what can the town do to help out if need be. And hopefully, if I'm successful in my candidacy for a state rep, what can I do as a state representative to bring those concerns and those requests to Concord? Okay, so my due diligence, again, sitting at these school board meetings, is to get further educated and find out how the process works and what their needs are for the community.
You know, in my mind, I always compare being a state representative to being a farmer. And let me expound on that. We work for $100 a year. As we know, our farmers work very hard for little money. And we're on call and get calls 24/7. So whether you don't have a regular fixed hours, it's like a farmer, he's got to be out there doing his chores every day. So how do you feel about being a state rep and being on call 24/7?
Well, I think that's a great analogy, and you have to pull up the bootstraps, and you have to make that commitment, and the people are counting on you, so you need to be available, and that's why my information is posted all throughout social media, as well as the internet. My cell phone number, my email, my address, because I do run a small business out of my home, and what I try to promote is my availability to everybody. Whether you have a gripe or an attaboy or a comment, concern, or a suggestion, I want to hear that because that's what's very important. And my door is always open, and that's also very important.
One thing I've seen over the last few months, there are a lot of 91A requests, which is right to know. And I see it in a lot of towns, it's bogging down our staff. And it bothers me a little bit because I've got no secrets. If someone wants to know something, don't have a 91A request. Call me. I'm more than happy to talk to you about it. I've got nothing to hide. And I think most of the reps and most of our town officials feel the same way.
I believe that as well. Well, we started seeing a surgency of 91A requests, whether it's been in regards to the 287G for ICE, or individual 91A requests for goings on in the town, if you will. But I can't agree more. The amount of time and burden it places on the town staff, particularly the police department, because now they have to take away time from public safety, if you will, to pursue the 91A request. And some of the 91A requests are getting a little bit out of balance with the integrity of the actual request.
Yeah.
And that's where you start losing balance.
And if someone's hiding something, I have no problem. But don't use it as a fishing expedition.
And that's what we seem to be seeing more and more. So I know that's a topic of our discussion as a select board, and hopefully we're on the right track to improve efficiency, with that. Mm-hmm. Because we are there for the residents, we're there for the people, and we want to give the information out as best we can.
Yep. Well, that's what I have for questions today. Would you like to have a final statement on the wares of Gorham in the state of New Hampshire?
Well, I'm very happy to be here, and thank you very much for having me over here. And I'd like to continue with this, and I'm available, and I try to be as involved as I can on different boards and different committees. And I look forward to running for state representative, as well as continuing my tenure as a select person. And I think the combination of those two would make for a very formed state representative, being that I hear the needs and the concerns of the town pretty much on a daily basis.
I couldn't agree more. And I have to say that for your audition, you've done a great job, and Representative Davis might be in trouble.
Thank you very much.
I want to thank you for coming today, And as always, please feel free to reach out to all of us or any of us on this North Country Politics. We really look forward to your feedback, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, everybody.